Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have a jam-packed video for you tonight. This will be probably my longest video that I've made for this particular stock for most of you, and actually probably the longest video I've made ever on the channel. Okay, just to reiterate, guys, before I get into this, I'm not a financial advisor. Make sure that you do your own research before investing. Also, if you find value in today's video, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content, and hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can let you know when we release new content. So tonight's video, guys, we're going to talk about share dilution. We're going to talk about what it is, what it means, and in particularly what it means for those of you who hold Zion Oil and Gas stock. Ticker symbol ZNOG. We have a big week ahead for Zion Oil and Gas, and I think it's going to be a wild week. I can't wait. And we're going to talk about some insider buying. There's some things going around saying that some of the directors and chairmen or whatnot, and all these people bought shares of the company. And after doing some research, I broke down the SEC forms, and I'm going to kind of shed some insight and some knowledge on that as well. So, stick with me, guys. It's going to be a jam-packed video. Like I said, I have a lot of information to cover. So other than that, guys, let's dive right on into it. All right, guys, so first and foremost, don't forget that Wednesday on June the 9th is the shareholder meeting. It is going to be accessible via webinar for sure, and you still have time to vote, I believe, until June the 8th. So I went ahead and registered to listen in on the webinar. I'm not sure if I'll get approval prior to that. I was supposed to. I haven't gotten any notification yet. That's what I was told when I submitted the form. They also said that June 4th was the deadline to submit your information to be eligible to attend. However, they still have the form up. So if you haven't done that and you want to do that, just to try it out, you can. Just go to ZNOG.com, click on this here, and then you'll go to click here to register. And if you browse down, it'll give you these little boxes where you type your name, your address, your email, and it's going to ask some information about where do you hold shares. Do you have a brokerage account? Do you have the shares directly through Zion, I believe? And then they'll have to, I believe, approve you before you're able to get in on the webinar. But surely we can possibly listen in, via phone. Either way, guys, I'm going to try to go live at this particular time at 2 o'clock if I'm able to get in on that webinar. If not, I'll just make a video updating everybody on the results of the meeting. So what's at stake here, we know, obviously, the big thing for us is, the big hot topic is share dilution, right? We're talking about, are they going to issue more shares? Is our share going to be diluted? So I think it's important for all of us as investors to understand what share dilution is and what it means for us as investors. All right, guys, so stock dilution or equity dilution is the decreasing of an existing shareholder's ownership percentage of a company as a result of the company's issuing new equity. New equity increases the total shares outstanding, which has a dilutive effect on the ownership percentage of the existing shareholders. This increase in the number of shares outstanding can result from a primary market offering, employee exercising stock options, issuing of conversion of convertible bonds, preferred shares, or warrants into the stock. The dilution can shift fundamental positions of the stock, such as ownership percentage, voting control, earnings per share, and the value of individual shares. So what the heck does this mean for us and our position for Zion Oil and Gas? Well, basically, in a nutshell, stock dilution, guys, it's not decreasing the number of shares that you own, okay? It is decreasing the percentage ownership of the company that you're invested in, all right? So basically, if I own 10% of the company and they issue a bunch of new shares, it's going to dilute my percentage because I only own a certain amount of shares, and now they just issued more. It goes by the amount owned compared to the number outstanding, and now I only own a certain amount. So the way I can fix that is, well, I can invest more money into the stock, right? And I can try to gain my percentage ownership back into that company. But you're not going to lose any type of shares. You could lose value, because I do think if this happens, you're going to see a temporary dump in the stock price. And that actually may be a good thing for some of us, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But I wanted you to understand exactly what that meant if they do issue more shares for the company. So the next thing we're going to go over, guys, is we're going to go over the SEC filings on Zion Oil and Gas, and we're going to go over the forms that they filed, and we're going to look at the insider transactions. Before we do that, I'm going to go over a form that breaks down some information that we have to know about the insider transaction. So this form that we're going to go over here in a second is going to be linked in the description below. I highly recommend that you download that PDF and save it to your desktop to use for future reference if you ever have to do this again for any other type of company. All right, guys, so this is strictly off of the SEC.gov website. It's insider transactions and forms 3, 4, and 5. So it says the federal securities laws require certain individuals, such as officers, directors, and those that hold more than 10% of any class of company securities, to report purchases, sales, and holdings of their company securities by filing forms 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so in this case, we're going to go over form number 4 because that's what has been filed in regards to Zion Oil and Gas and the people that we have on those forms. So it says, in most cases, when an insider executes a transaction, he or she must file a Form 4. With this form filing, the public is made aware of the insider's various transactions in a company's securities, including the amount purchased or sold and the price per share. Form 4 must be filed within 2 business days following the transaction date. Transactions in a company's common stock, as well as derivative securities such as options, warrants, and convertible securities, are reported on the form. Each transaction is coded to indicate the nature of the transaction. And that's the key, guys, is the code. So let's take a look at these codes that we have here. We're going to go over several of these. The first one is code P, and that is purchase. That means I myself took money out of my account and I purchased shares and put money into the company directly, and I purchased it through the company. Okay, that means I made a purchase with my own money to buy more equity into the company. S is sale of securities, which is basically the opposite of purchase. Obviously, it means I sold some shares back to the company and put money back into my pocket. All right, and we're going to go over A, which is the grant, award, or other acquisition of securities from the company, such as an option. All right, and that basically means I acquired stock from the company from some type of reward or incentive program. Okay, it's important that we know that. Again, this is linked in the description below, guys. Make sure that you click on this and it'll take you straight to this PDF. Go over here, download it to your computer, and save it for future reference. Okay, guys, next thing up we're going to go is to the SEC.gov website. We're going to go over to Filings, Company Filing Search. This is how we're going to track inside transactions for any company that we want to check on. In this case, we're going to Zion Oil and Gas, ticker symbol ZNOG. We're going to go to Ownership Disclosures, and then we are going to go down to View All Insider Transactions. And as you can see here, guys, I looked at a lot of these already. As you can see, the links are different, blue and purple. Purple means I already clicked on them. We're going to go over to this one here and open the document. It's not the one I wanted. We're going to go to John Brown. That's the one I wanted. Okay, so John Brown, guys. We're going to break down this document here. This is the Form 4 that we talked about. As you see here, this is John Brown. We're going to come over here and it's going to say 10% owner, which makes sense. So our document was telling us 10% or greater has to file Form 3, 4, or 5. Date or earliest transaction, 5/21/2021. We're going to come down here and take a look at the other information. Conversion or exercise price of derivative security, 59 cents per share. Transaction, June the 1st, 2021. Code A. Okay, this is important. It's not P. It doesn't mean that he went and bought shares. It means that the company gave these shares to John Brown. How much did he acquire? 200,000 shares of Zion Oil and Gas, valued at 59 cents. Price of the derivative security was zero, which means it cost him nothing. Okay, this was through their reward and incentive program, to the best of my knowledge. It's basically one of the things that we voted on for Wednesday. Do you want to keep that going? That was yes or no. Do you want to keep incentivizing the directors and the officers? Do you want to keep giving them, shares of the company, stock options, things of that nature? That is basically, in my opinion, to the best of my knowledge, what it's telling us that what just happened. Okay, and then it says number of derivative securities. Total is 600,000. It means he owns 600,000 shares. And the D means it's direct ownership. It was paid out directly to him. Okay. Now, the question comes to why. Why are they giving these people stocks right now? Well, potentially for share dilution. Okay. They're about to issue new shares, which means they can potentially, if they don't have any more shares, drop their percentage ownership in the company. So they could be prepping for basically what they're planning on doing is to issue those new shares, and the fact that they gave them that amount of shares could potentially set them up to keep their percentage ownership the same. Okay, in my opinion, is what I think is kind of happening at this point. So if you look at all the other transactions that happen here, guys, they're all going to look the same. So like if I click on this one here, you're going to see a different name, right? You're going to see 10% owner. You're going to see code 8. You're going to see the same share price. You're going to see the same share amount. And you're also going to see 0 in box 8 showing their cost. You're going to see D. It's a direct payment to them. And then the only thing that might be different is the date that it happened, and also the total amount of shares owned by that particular person. Okay, so I just wanted to show that to you guys to make you understand these guys didn't go and purchase these shares. They were basically given these shares. Okay, that's a big difference. All right, they didn't come in and start buying it up, and I just don't want anyone to be misled thinking that, going into Monday, you have to go in and buy all these shares because, one of the directors bought shares. It was an acquisition through, it looks like, some type of incentive program dealing with stock options. So what does that mean moving forward into next week? Well, a few different scenarios, guys, but let's go ahead and move over to the charts, see what they're telling us, and I'll give you my opinion on these scenarios and my plan moving forward. All right, guys, looking at Zion Oil and Gas, ticker symbol ZNOG. Currently have a resistance at about 51.5 cents. Our support at about 18 cents currently, trading underneath that SMA line. Looking at the RSI, we're close to fair value, and on the MACD, we are still in a bearish pattern, meaning we are continuously selling off, right? All right, guys, so a couple of different scenarios that we're going to talk about, in my opinion, that could happen with this stock. So scenario 1, Zion releases some type of good update prior to the shareholder meeting, okay? And if that's the case, if they release some good information about the well, or if they happen to release that they found oil, then you can best believe that this thing's going to move to the upside, in my opinion, okay? If it's just some type of bland update, then I don't think it's going to do much. You might get a little tiny spike, and it may just stay stagnant until that shareholder meeting, and they want to know, about the dilution and all that type of stuff. Okay. Scenario 2, in my opinion, is they don't say anything, and that's a good possibility. Is they might not say anything until June 9th, and not release any information until that webinar or phone call, however we're going to listen into it. And they may give all the information on that call about the updates, and they may announce that they're issuing, those new shares, which means share dilution. And what happens to a stock price anytime there's some type of dilution? The stock price drops. Okay, the stock price drops. So what does that mean, guys? Again, remember what I said earlier. Your percentage ownership of the company is going to be decreased but your shares are going to remain the same. Your value is going to go down, obviously, if it starts dropping. So it's a good chance to average down, or in my opinion, a potential double up play. So what I'm doing is I'm going to have some cash on the sideline, and I'm going to set some buy orders probably at about 25 cents and maybe even 20 cents. That way, if it does drop rapidly, I have my orders hopefully going off and getting filled. And then that way, once it starts coming right back up, then I can potentially have a good swing play, and or just a larger position for my longer term play. Okay, so those are the scenarios I'm seeing, guys. Is it's either we're either going to get news about that we have oil prior to the meeting and we're going to start moving up significantly, or they're going to wait and they're just going to announce whatever they have to announce and any type of updates they have on June the 9th, and they're going to do it then. And I think the stock price is going to drop based off of them announcing they're issuing those new shares, or this stock price could also drop prior to the meeting if there's no news. People could just be freaked out saying, oh my gosh, no news is terrible news, and the stock price can drop more. Okay, now I did make a video not that long ago saying I do believe that this stock is going to go higher sooner, higher up soon, and I do believe that. Okay, but I think this week is going to be wild. So have a plan in place, guys. It's going to be a wild one, but I think it's going to be an exciting finish for this particular play. So anyway, I just wanted to make that video, guys. I hope you got some good value out of it. If you did, smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already and you do enjoy our videos. Also, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts going into this week. Let me know your thoughts on the information shared tonight, and also let me know your thoughts on your plan moving forward. Other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next video. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. Make sure that you smash the thumbs up button if you found value in today's video. And if you enjoy our content, of course, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way YouTube can let you know every time we release new content. Other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next video.